All right. All right. So we are live. Welcome everyone, Fly Lifers, to the Fly Life Live with Tiffany G. I am here with Coach Bahar of Evolve Community Foundation and Jewel Guy, visual storyteller, uh,
Mhm.
life coach,
Mhm.
great practitioner, and a whole lot of mom, wife, sister, and homegirl. Yeah, that's the long list.
I
Right?
like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I had to get down to the root of the situation, right? Yes. So thank you for agreeing to sit with me tonight for a healing conversation. Um the Fly Life is a platform that has been created by the Fly Girl Network. The Fly Girl Network was founded by myself, Tiffany Ginyard, in 2009 at Emerson Westside High School in Emerson Village, where I was a teacher. I taught 10th grade high school on the second floor, and I had the privilege of teaching some of Baltimore's brightest and innovative and resilient young people. And it has been such an honor. If it was not for that experience with Baltimore City Public Schools and those young people, healing would be a lot different. Because when I look at the young people and how they are resilient, and how they overcome so much just to show up in the world,
Yeah.
I am inspired. So we'll talk a little bit more about my experience with young people as I talk to some of my guests here. But the Fly Girl Network is a platform and a nonprofit organization that has been developed to create conscious raising media. So we are all here to feed the minds of our young people and provide alternative media for young people where they see brown people like us talking about real issues like us in real settings like you see us sitting in now. And so this is why we are here. We are here to let the young people know on social media where they are that the village is here too. So you can't hide out on social media because the Fly Life is coming to a social media network near you to bring healing conversations and just share with you all the network of support that we are generating out here, not only in the streets of Baltimore, but I'm with some people who are changing lives all over the world. So we just putting Baltimore on the map. We want you young people to know that it's possible to be more and be right here in Baltimore. So
Mhm.
that's my little introduction and spiel. And so for any of my frequent flyers that have been with me over any of the course of time, I always, I'm a fan of accountability, self accountability. And fly, we all know, and I'm with some fly people, don't get me wrong. So as the English teacher, fly has so many different connotations, and one of them is this beautiful melanated rainbow you see right here on the screen. So black people are fly. People from
That's
Baltimore are fly. These smiles on this face is on these faces are fly.
that's
Right, and on top of all of that, we rock some dope clothes, and we have dope families, right? And so that's what the Fly Life is about. Is really defining what fly is for you. And so what fly is for me, and what is all it always reminds me of, is while I look good on the outside, I know I do because God has created a masterpiece, right? But that is not important. Um, what fly is for me is being able to love everything that's on the inside and to bring that out. So to bring out, to love all the things that's on the inside and bring that part out, those things which people can't see that really make me me.
Mhm.
And that's the challenge because we got to heal all of this outside stuff that we think. So that's the healing conversation. So we got, that's the healing conversations we having tonight. What is to heal all that outside stuff so that our lights from the inside can just show up and show out, and we are being our best selves, and we are creating a world where our young people, our elders, and our families are thriving and healthy. And so I don't know if we still waiting for the election results or anything like that. I tried to stay away because anxiety is not my friend. But we can change what we are creating community right here. And we're showing young people how to do that right here. So I mentioned the elections because that's like the outside world. But tonight we're going to talk about the inside world and how to govern the inside world and how to use our gifts and talents to govern the inside world. And one of the tools and practices I've used over the course of this fly lifetime is gratitude. And so we're going to take about 5 minutes to share with you all what gratitude is. And I'm gonna stop talking, right? And I want Jewel and Coach to talk about gratitude as a practice, how you use it, and 5 things you're grateful for.
In 5 days, what?
5 things you're grateful for today.
Oh, got you. Okay.
All right. So let's start with you, Jewel.
Okay. So probably a couple years ago, I learned that gratitude is the great multiplier of life. And when I read that, I think it was like in The Secret or The Power or something like that. The more that we project into, let's call it the universe, what we want to see, what we want to experience, those things will come back to us. Just like if we put the negative stuff out into the universe, it comes back. It's just like a seed. Whatever you plant, you're going to get back. So I learned that, in most days, I'm just like, when I get up, I'm saying I'm thankful for just opening my eyes, right? But today, I want to say that I'm thankful for my family, my support system. I am grateful for my journey. I'm grateful for the practice of mindfulness and being present. I'm grateful for my breath, because when you have your breath circulating through your whole body and oxygen is getting where it's supposed to be, you can have clearer thoughts, clearer thought patterns, and you actually feel better. So some of that tension that resides in your body can be released if we're really being mindful, present, and breathing. And then the last thing is that I'm really grateful for nature. Over the past 2 years, I started a garden, and it has been therapy for me, like every day. So getting my hands inside of the dirt and eating food that, I've grown has been a really humbling process, but also just like a gratefulness process. Just every time I walk outside, I feel like I'm just, I don't know, I'm somewhere else. I'm somewhere else, and it always lifts my spirits.
What are you growing?
I am growing a lot of stuff, but the thing that produced the most was 3 types of basil, peppers, grape tomatoes, collard. I had string beans. I had Swiss chard. Yeah, my whole backyard right now is raised beds.
All right. So for young people who might not know about growing your own food and being your own food supplier and seeing if do you live in Baltimore?
I do. I live not too far from Morgan. So I'm in a townhouse, a small backyard.
Okay.
I started with 1 raised bed that's like 4 foot by 4 foot, and the rest of my stuff was pots. So literally, I've gotten abundance out of growing peppers in pots. So you don't have to have a lot of space. Just get your seed, get some really good soil, and watch it grow, and talk to them and nurture them.
You got friends in the backyard always.
Yep.
Coach, Jewel mentioned nature, and every time I see a picture on Facebook, every time I see a FLY LYF logo or promo, it's something you're somewhere posted up that I wish I was in the middle of the water about to jump off a cliff. You out of a plane. So what is it about nature for you? And then talk to me about gratitude.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, nature is like the great equalizer. It's the balance. It's the real reality that
Yes.
that exists on this planet. And when I say the real reality, I just mean like the baseline of our existence, and then the other stuff we create, we build, the creative part, the buildings, the sidewalks, the streets, the cars, the all of that other stuff. And sometimes those things I consider them to be distractions. So nature to me is like a great equalizer. It's like a harmonizer. It's kind of like a tuning fork. And when you're out there, everything about you tends to tune. Whether you're in the mountains, whether you're in the coastal plains, whether you're in the ocean, whether you're in the plateau, whatever part of the planet that you're on, whether the elevation is 20,000 feet or 0 or 100 feet below the sea, which thankfully I've been all over. I've been hundreds of feet below the sea and thousands of feet in this elevation. And so it's just really just for me, it just connects me to just the simple things in life. And it kind of takes me away from a lot of distractions or the noise that tend to pollute our minds, our bodies, and our spirits when we navigate through this thing called life on this thing called a planet, or however you want to describe it.
Yeah.
But for me, great gratitude to me is just a way. I see gratitude is a way to empty. So all of those things that I spoke about, those things that pollute our minds, our bodies, and spirit, when you have gratitude and you're truly thankful for what's presented to you in your life, it sort of like wipes the slate clean. It kind of says, you know what, you can start off today, and you can literally start off every day. If with gratitude, you can have an empty slate. And there's a Japanese term called mushin, mushin, mushin. And I think that term mushin, when you practice mushin and you empty, I think that's a sign of gratitude and bowing and humility and all of those things that when you practice those things, it allow you to kind of just empty and get a fresh start. And most people are afraid to do that. So when you practice that level of gratitude, I just think that it'll give you a clean slate every single time. And when you practice, you'll see if you keep practicing it.
So what's 5 things you're grateful for today?
Right behind me. You see them in the background: business, education, arts, community, and health. I mean, beach life. I'm so grateful for my beach life. And that's why I developed the practice, beach life practice, because you can literally measure everything against those 5 things. So those 5 things is business, being able to appreciate all the different things that come along with business, banking, contracts, finance, all those things that kind of fall under that business realm. Being able to understand those things and maneuver through life with a thorough understand those things. I'm extremely grateful. Education, knowing the importance of the basics of reading, writing, comprehension, all those things, and then understanding educational system, learning modalities, all of the different things that come with this concept of education, being able to understand that and navigate through life. And then art, being able to express yourself, being able to have, whether it's through fashion, music, painting, drawing, movement, dance, just being able to have the ability to express yourself, being able to articulate things that really don't have words to describe them, but having the ability to artistically express them. So art is what I'm thankful for. And then community. Community encompasses everything: family, neighborhoods, friends, stakeholders, partnerships, all of those things. Community in itself is very important. I'm so grateful for that. And then health, mental, physical, spiritual, financial, just the idea of health, inside, outside, all around. And so beach life, I would say, I would sum it up as I'm super internally grateful for beach life, and that I'm able to now coach beach life and share beach life with the world.
Thank you. Thank you. So So it's the major key alert time. I want to talk about the things that I'm grateful for on and these are keys that I've carried with me through my healing journey of um understanding mental illness and mental health, developing emotional resilience, being able to express myself. Not everybody has the ability, well, can tap into that ability. We all have the ability to express ourselves, but we all don't know how. And the world we live in has normalized us not feeling, but thinking our way through everything or following our way through everything. And so being the sensitive person that I am, I'm just grateful for these keys that I picked up along the way, that I call my help throughout the day. So I thank God every day for self-awareness. And that's knowing, number one, that no matter what happens above and beyond what's happening in my human body, if I'm feeling anxious today, if my toe hurt, or if my gear's not right, and I got holes in my shoes, that is not who I am. And when I remember that, it gives me a sense of gratitude, because it's like, wow, I must be dope if I can look like this. I got a hole in my shoe today, or my hair is just not, it's fried and dyed, and everybody looking at me sideways. But that's not who I am. And so I'm grateful that the truth of who I am is that I am a spiritual being, and I just have a human experience that I'm living. And so being a human being now is something that I'm grateful for, because it's not all that I am. So these problems that I'm facing, and they are sometimes big problems, sometimes problems that not I can handle alone. But they are not who I am, and they don't define who I am. And it takes a practice of being aware and constantly putting something in front of your face, or a practice or somebody to remind you of who you really are. And I'm grateful for that. Self-identity. I'm glad I know who I am now. And I still don't even know all of who I am, but I'm glad that I have opened up enough to myself that I'm willing to grow into everything that I don't know. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that self-love is really a thing. It's a thing, because on this healing journey, you'll discover, and I know all of you two have discovered, that there are certain parts of healing wounds or hurts that you have to do by yourself.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
Yeah, I'm in one of those moments right now, and I'm just like kicking and screaming, like I just want to hug. I just want to lay up under somebody. I just want to go to I was in my mother room today on her bed. She's like, "You want to talk about?" I'm like, "No, just thank you for being." And so I'm just grateful that I've learned how to develop how to love on myself, and learning to love on myself is kicking and screaming and having those moments, and then showing up. Utilizing, going ahead and crying it out, but loving myself enough to know that it's okay, and releasing it is a form of gratitude. Releasing it. Yeah, I got that from you. I just got that from you. And self-mastery. I'm glad that I'm learning, and I'm working with people, and I'm glad that there are coaches out here now that are focusing on helping people master themselves from within and not look for outside. So I'm grateful for that key. I'm grateful that that I might not always get it right, but the effort and showing up is what matters. So But I'm just grateful for those things. Yeah, I'm grateful for those things. I'm grateful for those ideas and those principles, and those are things that are supporting me on my healing journey. So
Awesome.
now that's just a way to just give thanks and just to clear the way for the conversation tonight. So we're gonna go on. We're gonna go over to Jewel because Jewel, you got some. I met you. We're gonna talk about how I met you and where you were when I met you and where you are now.
Right.
So to pretty much preface this, we met down at an event.
A House of Diamonds. Yep.
House of Diamonds.
Yeah.
And what street was that on?
So that's on Arlington.
Okay.
Arlington near Edmondson. But it was an event that Shauna Henson had put together.
Yes.
And Jasmine was there as well. I think it was an art show.
Yes, it was an art exhibition.
Yes, that's what it was.
Actually paying. I was there on assignment to cover it's the artist who painted the mural,
Marcella
Mason.
Yep.
Yes. All that painted the murals out of the. He was an apprentice here in Baltimore, an art apprentice, and Shauna did some work there and where we met, and you were the photographer, and we were capturing this exhibition of all the artwork that so many people enjoy on the sides of abandoned buildings throughout Baltimore City, and so these homey community pieces like ones you see on Good Times, but these was Baltimore homegrown,
right?
On the side of the wall. And our dear friend Shauna, she was actually helping me just get out there and just, get out and meet some people. And, you got some things to share. And why don't you cover what's going on with this exhibition? And that's when I met you.
Yeah, I remember.
And we started talking about, I was in some relationship drama because I think I had to pull myself together. And I forgot, I asked you what you did, and you said, I'm working on this project. And it's about having conversations with Black men. And that was about 2 years ago.
Yep.
You were coming up with an anniversary.
Yeah.
Of a book that you authored.
Yeah.
Called Dear Black Men.
Yes.
Yes. Affirmations, questions, and apologies you may not have heard. Let's talk about from that 2 years.
Wow.
Right. What inspired that? What happened after we because this is I only saw you one time to cop my shirt.
Right.
and then I saw you on Amazon, and I'm making a comment talking about the book is dope. I'm using it in circles.
Yep, I need a shirt. So what's really interesting about that is you talked about your major keys. And I think all of them are important, and we need to use all of them, right? So I think I was getting into a place where I was becoming more self-aware. So what happened was, when you met me, I had probably been out of corporate America because I went to school for electrical engineering, stayed there for about 7 years. And then I was like, nope, I need to touch some people. I feel like I'm supposed to be helping people. I need to get out of here. So my husband and I had a discussion about that. And he's like, all right, September 2016, that can be it, right? I moved into photography, started meeting up with Shauna and just telling her my visions about what I wanted to do. But it quickly morphed into what my soul knows I'm supposed to be doing. And that is touching people's lives, like helping people. But what happens is that when you're supposed to be a coach or a healer or somebody that's supposed to be helping somebody else on your journey, you will get the lessons that you were supposed to get. So I got married in 2015. And the first 2 years of my marriage was probably the most challenging intimate relationship that I've ever had in my life. And most of the time, I was the one who was like the financier of the relationship. I had the most education in relationships. And even now, like my husband doesn't have more education than me per se, right? Not a degree or anything, but he's wise. And so he started calling me out on stuff that I was doing. So whether it was behaviors towards him, the things that I said towards him, the faces that I've made, bringing old stuff in, it was like a consistent onslaught. That's what it felt like. Like, you need to do something. You need to change that because, like, the behavior that you're giving me, I haven't given you a reason for you to display that type of behavior to me. And though I was like, dang, I'm used to like pedestal life, people always telling me how great I am. Here this man is like, yeah, I love you, but you need to fix that. You need to do something about that because that doesn't sit well with me, right? That doesn't and it's not a controlling thing. It's like you need friends that are going to tell you, you need to fix that. You need to apologize. You need to be accountable for your stuff. And so what I realized is that a lot of the assumptions and the expectations that I had out of relationships in general were off. It's all of the stuff that society was pushing. Men don't have feelings, right? And I don't think I've ever said that out of my mouth, but my actions said something different, right? Dismissing what they say, right? You know everything. Or coming to the table as if I know everything, not really trying to take the input. But when I decided that I was going to be okay with being accountable and being responsible for my own stuff, I started healing work that I didn't even realize was supposed to be done. So we started talking and I just started asking questions. I'm like, okay, tell me more. Tell me more about what you've been experiencing as a Black man. Tell me where your safe spaces are. Now, I know Black men usually go to the barbershop or they might have a small group of friends that they talk to. But even in those groups, they don't necessarily have the freedom to share all that they want to share. Again, because of societal programming and stigmas and, don't cry and all of this stuff, right? But all of that is causing them to suppress, and us too. But because we're talking about Black men, causing them to suppress a lot of the stuff that they feel, and we're dismissing it. We're not paying attention. So in 2018, in October, I said, okay, I'm just going to make it a personal mission to post daily to Black men. I had no book in mind. I was just like, I just want to have a conversation. Because I had started asking him questions, I started asking my brothers questions, and then Black men in community that would, allow me the time and space to have conversations with them. I would ask them some of the same questions. Like, I'm hearing that women aren't apologizing. What do you say? Is that happening with you too? We're in space. Like, how are women showing up in relationships? Can you have productive conversations? Can you call a woman out on being accountable for her stuff? Like, what does that look like? And it was so similar, like, nah, or I'm not going to touch it. I'm just trying to keep the peace. And I'm like, okay, so let me just start having these conversations. So I started with affirmations because I felt like Black men need to be affirmed. I'm like, who's affirming you guys? Like, who's in your circle, like telling you, like, keep going. I believe in you. I appreciate you. You're an amazing father, right? We always see all of the negative all of the time. So I wanted to start off with affirmations. And then I went into apologies. And I promise you, the people who started seeing my posts, they just all came out the woodwork. Some people were like, why are you apologizing to them? They should be apologizing to us.
Wow.
I had misogynists on my page, like, don't believe nothing, that believes more than 3 days and doesn't die. I was like, whoa, there's some deep-seated hurt. But I didn't let that stop me. So probably, I don't know, May of the following year, just taking some of Shauna's principles that she had been teaching me during our coaching sessions, I was like, okay, I'm going to take the most engaging posts from Facebook and I'm going to put them in a book. Because the world doesn't follow me on Facebook.
Right.
But if I put a book out, it can go as far as it wants to go. And so I did that last June. Yeah, last June, right before Father's Day. And I mean, the amount of comments and feedback that we get on a daily basis. I mean, I had people in the Netherlands reading this book and using this book for their own sessions. I have people in the Midwest using it for their group therapy sessions. And just people in general, just like, I really need this. Like, we give hundreds of books away because I'm all about here first. So I'll sell books here. But if I see somebody who really needs it, let's here. I'd rather you get that out than keep it in.
These kinds of some of the things that these conversations should be free conversations because they free some people up. This from the apologies, and especially that you were getting some backlash from the women. Dear Black men, forgive me for making you responsible for my happiness and self-esteem. That's not your responsibility.
And I don't know how many men open to that page and it's like, oh, women not gonna say that. I said, but
what did you feel when you heard that, Coach? I'm sorry. What did you feel when you
yes, please.
So when I heard that, say that again. The part about apologizing. Read it again.
Yeah, so the apology is, dear Black man, dear Coach. Okay. Forgive me for making you responsible for my happiness and self-esteem. That's not your responsibility.
I would disagree. I would say that's partially true, but I wouldn't accept it as full truth, though. I would say, yes, thank you. I accept your apology, but I do take some accountability.
Wow. So, right. So from a woman's perspective, this woman's perspective, I know I've done that. Right. So I can't vouch for what you have done just from this perspective. And this is why I didn't write it from, or try to write this from
like a general,
of all Black women, because it's not. Everybody's situation is different and everybody's going to receive it different. But as a general statement, many people have undergone things where they have been responsible for somebody's happiness through behaviors. Like, that resonated so much with the men that I spoke to.
Oh, it resonates with me because I've had to make this apology. And for anybody who's going to cop this book, I need you to cop the book, first of all. It's really like, while it's for men, I didn't buy this to give to a man. That's not why I bought this book. I did not buy this. I did not give it to a man. I kept this book.
Yeah.
And I journaled it for myself.
Interesting.
There's a portion where it's share what you feel, right? And that's like as if I took it that Jewel wrote this for Black men to be able to have a safe space for themselves.
Yeah.
Because women don't provide that for them. So that's that one side. But I picked the book up because I was Jewel. I am Jewel.
Right.
What part you've healed already and what part where we at in our healing process, we're still apologizing. But the apology and like forgiveness is really not necessarily like, Coach, I hear you, right? But I also hear like that's also what men supposed to do. That's what society say. Take the rap, right? You the provider, you the shield, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I know that I have taken advantage of that idea.
Yeah.
And not stood on my own 2 feet to find that which makes me happy. And then there is this program that told me as a female that I was supposed to look for my completeness in a relationship. And so if I'm looking for my completeness in I'm not complete until I got the relationship.
Right.
So people are getting that mixed messaging from a myriad of reasons, experience, media, however we come to that conclusion. But that's been a general conclusion for a lot of us. That there's a stage somewhere that somehow somebody is going to take the responsibility to put a smile on your face. And that's, while that may be a caveat and a plus to the relationship, and it may even be an expectation. Like, I want somebody I can laugh with, but
Mm-hmm.
having somebody that I can laugh with and having somebody that makes me smile, they are two different things.
Yeah.
And I really check myself, because I was, when I found myself not getting what I wanted out of relationships, I had to think about, this is that self-awareness part. What is it that I'm really lacking? And can this person give it?
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, my husband and I say we always say for us is that we are a part of each other's happiness. Because he was very clear, like, I don't want to be the everything. That's a tiring job. Like, to be everything. Like, I don't want to be everything to somebody. Listen, I like going out and having fun and talking to people for a little bit, but I'm a sage. I like to go sit by myself for a while. So I don't need people like pulling on me for everything that they need. I like to give the drops as I can, right? And so for us, it was more so like, yes, you can be happy by yourself, but we are a part of each other's happiness. And so just not making one person solely responsible for, the well-being of the relationship, so that, you're not blaming just one person, because we are personally responsible. And I think that was the reason. So Tiffany, the fact that you said that you did it for yourself was also the reason why I did it. So women come up all the time like, can women use this? Yes. I wrote it from a self-reflective place. You can look at these same apologies and say, man, is this something that I've done? Have I done this to someone else? Have I like checked in to see if they were like okay with that? It's just causing us to have better conversations or different conversations. Because a lot of times we're not having conversations about what a relationship looks like. And that's not everybody, but a lot of times people are getting together like, all right, we're together. Okay, well, what does that look like?
Right. And what do you expect?
Right. What are your expectations? What are your assumptions? What do you think I'm going to be doing? Now, let me tell you what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. I think it's just more so about just giving, in this case, Black men, but human beings in general, giving them the space to choose, to say no, to say yes. Like, ask the questions. I think a lot of times we're looking for somebody to like read our minds or know what we want. But we have to be better communicators of that, and like stand in the power that you know of yourself. This is what I want. And be willing, if this is a relationship where it's going to turn into marriage or whatever, be willing to say, okay, this is not it for me. Some people don't want to do that.
And
We
they'll
want
stay
to happen
somewhere.
right now. I'm 35. It's time. Well, that don't mean the next person that come into your life gonna be it.
Yeah.
But we learn by trying, right? We talk about that all the time. Like, failure is okay. It's okay to like try something and say, that's not for me. It doesn't have to be detrimental, to your existence, but just trying something. And I think we gain more power and more confidence when we as human beings know when to let go, when to release. That's how we get a lot of relationships that's just like, oh, yeah, we've been here about 15, 20 years. And, I guess we'll get married now, or I guess we'll do whatever. But we haven't had that conversation. So it's really just about just having different types of conversations so that we can just be more honest and transparent with each other.
Yeah. So I'm going to this next page so I can get you in, Coach. Dear Black man, I respect you.
My husband told me that respect is even greater than love for him. Does he want to be loved? Absolutely. But he wants to be respected.
And
right?
So when you talked about, did that heal did that heal something for you?
I think for me, it was just all eye-opening, right? Because I'm going in like, I'm just going to love you. But what does respect look like? So everybody has a different way of respecting someone, or how they want to be respected. And so I would just ask them more open-ended questions. Okay, well, what does respect look like to you? Like, don't demean me. Like,
Right.
don't put me down. Like, don't talk to me any kind of way. Like, we made an agreement before we got married, of things that we would do our best to do, in the relationship for each other. And one of those things was like speaking kind to each other, right? And respecting each other when we talk. Because a lot of times we see people talking at people and not talking to them, right?
Yeah.
So to them is a respectful, mutual way. I really just want to get to the bottom of whatever this conversation is. Talking at is, I'm right, you're wrong, you're going to listen to my point.
Yeah.
And it puts people on the defensive. But if I'm talking to you, and if I find that when I come in and just ask questions, it's a
Right.
little bit more like, okay, well, she really wants to know,
To know where I'm. Yeah. Where I'm.
rather than telling you what I already think you gonna say and all that stuff. But he told me, he said respect was really, really big for men in general, but a big thing for him too. Because if he feels respected, then he's gonna accept the love that I give him.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
tell me you love me and you don't respect me. Like you put me down, you calling me all kinds of stuff. No. Respect, love.
Right.
That's just how it works over here. But for other people it might be different. But from the people that I've talked to, respect is really big for Black men.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So when I think about respect, and I want to and that being so big on Black men, Coach, I met you at Morgan State University one summer at don't tell
Sutton
me,
Scholars, the Sutton Scholars program.
Scholars program, yes. And we were coaches to some young people who were transitioning to high school or had already gotten to high school, and we were supporting them in a literacy program as well as some life coaching. That summer, I that was my first summer that I tried to get back out there and do my life's work. Like you said, Jewel, when you called to work with other people and support other people in their healing journeys, the very thing you have to go through are the things that you're going to have to teach. And so I got some permission to go out in the field and experiment with what I had learned, and I worked out at Morgan for that summer after being out of the classroom for about a year. And it was such a rewarding experience because I connected with Coach Bahar. He is the founder and the president of Evolve Community Foundation. But we met working with just teaching young people scholarship. And those young people came with, they had to wipe off all of the dust off of living life outside in them streets and come into a university, and I call it code switch, right? And try to immerse themselves in an education. And so so we had a fun experience and just imparting in those young people. So I want you to talk about, because I didn't know you before the camp. We just got put in a room and we had to put together a curriculum and teach it. And so, but we just connected with those young people. And so I just wanted to talk about, that was a healing experience for me because I was able to really connect back with people who loved Baltimore youth and wanted to see them heal and want to see them thrive. And, I'm a worker. And when it comes to these young people, I always tell anybody on the street, it's not those kids, they our kids. So I only rock with people who think like that because they're the future for all of us. And you can't leave any of them behind. And Coach, you never leave nobody behind. So tell me what you do and how you support healing and transformation in young people as young as 12 and 11 years old.
Oh yeah, we got babies, second grade. Well, I think first of all, the word itself. It's not just a word. It is the transformation that I experienced personally, and I was able to evolve from, born in Belvedere Park Heights in the 70s. You know what I mean? Growing up Baltimore City, Pennsylvania Avenue, North Avenue, West Baltimore in the 80s. But that was just where I started. And there was always something inside of me that I knew was different. I knew that I used to, for example, I would be out on the block and I would look around at the buildings and look at everybody out there, whether they shooting dice or smoking or drinking. And my crazy ass would be like, damn, we in the middle of a forest. And there's a stream running through here. And I would bust out laughing. And then I would leave. And I'm out. There's something ain't right about this. At the time, I didn't know what it was. But I said, this ain't no real environment. This is an artificial environment. Wow. We on the block. People in the corners talking about representing street signs that somebody laid concrete. Well, first of all, they crushed up a mountain. Then they mixed it up with all of these chemicals, and then they mixed with water, and then they laid it down, and then they mixed this tar and this coal and all this stuff and laid it down, then erected these structures and then put us there and told us to claim it as our own. And then we started killing each other and, repping. I was like, wait a minute, something inside of my mind. But at the time, I didn't know how to change it. I didn't know what to do. I mean, you talking about 12, 13, 14-year-old boy. I didn't know how to get out. But I knew instinctively that something was wrong because I'd been to the forest. I'd been to streams. I'd seen oceans. I'd seen farmlands. And then I would come back to this environment. I said, wait a minute. How did it just stop? How is it that you're on an ocean, you're in a field, and then all of a sudden there's concrete, no trees? I said, wait, something's not right. But as a kid, your mind can't conceive it. I mean, I had a friend that got shot and he was paralyzed. Think about that. We see people getting shot and murdered in the streets all the time. I'm a 14-year-old boy. I'm in the streets. I'm thinking I know what's going on. But I couldn't even rationalize that my friend was walking yesterday and not walking today. So in my mind, I'm thinking, and I'm a kid. I'm hitting him on his leg. Yo, can you feel this? I'm stepping on his toes. Can you? He like, but I can't feel. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You really can't. You can't get up. Bullshit. How did that happen? So I'm a kid. So after trying to make sense of these things year after year after year, I don't know exactly when I think it transition happened after maybe the time I saw all three bodies in the funeral home at one time. And then I was like, whoa, something that we're doing is not right. And then I started figuring out, well, how do I change my environment? I'm a 14-year-old boy, no father, mother, working 20 jobs just to, put food in her mouth, not to think about her 7 kids. So I'm just like, fuck this. I got to figure something out. And I just kind of went inside. I started trying to study things. I started trying to learn about business. I started trying to educate myself and be creative using music and art and really just trying to tell myself in my mind that the war zone that I was in was not real. So I kept telling myself, this is not real. And then that narrative went to the war is over. And once I started telling myself that, in fact, I was having a conversation with a Vietnam veteran and we were having a conversation. He said when he left the war in Vietnam, they would take him to another place and do what's called a debriefing. And they would debrief him for months. And he would debrief him for months to tell him, hey, you're not in a war zone anymore. It's over. And, kind of help him reacclimate back to regular society. And I broke down in tears because I'd never heard anybody say that you can debrief from a situation, a traumatic situation. So once I started hearing all of these things that I was trying to figure out, then hearing that, I said, I got it. But then I didn't know where to start. But that's when my evolution began. So first thing I did was went inside and started looking at myself from the inside, started, listening to my heartbeat, listening, watching my blood pulsating, hearing my lungs inhale. And I just started listening to all the things, listening to my eyes blink and listening to my fingernails grow. And I'm like, wait a minute. And as I started going inside and looking at myself, I started realizing things around me started changing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things that was an illusion, it started to clear up. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. And then it became fun to me. It became a game. And that's why Beach Life, Track to Success and Purpose System, I turned into a game, because I had to look at it as something fun now, because everybody wasn't playing. I can tell people right now, the war is over. And they would argue with me and say, no, it's not. I'm living it right now. Bullshit. I'm going to say, no, it is. It is. And I'm telling you, it is. Bullshit, man. Out going out here, over there. I'm like, but the war is over. And I can clearly say that with a clear conscience. And I mean it. Well, you can say it's you might still be in that mind state, but I'm not.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to heal from what had happened during that time in a war zone, because I didn't have the veterans hospital to go to and talk to former veterans and talk about the trauma and all the experience that come with war zones. So I had to figure out a way. I had to figure out a way out, and music and art, business, community. And I started practicing different arts. I started practicing martial arts, started practicing Tai Chi, yoga, and just a lot of internal arts. I went on a trip to Africa in 2006, and this really began the major transformation and how Evolve really started coming about. I was on a trip to Africa. I was volunteering, and a bunch of delegates from the U.S. flew over to Africa for this economic empowerment summit, where they were trying to bridge people from all over the world to come in and invest in Africa. It's called the Leon Sullivan Summit. And during that time, I met Martin Luther King III was there. John Hope Bryant was there. Andrew Young was there. And Bill Clinton was there. It was a lot of people that I flew on the plane from America to Abuja and back with. And so during this time, we were sitting in the airport in Abuja. Now, keep in mind, I'm from Baltimore. I didn't have any money at the time, but they said I can volunteer and go over there. I said, I'll take it. You can put me in the plane, but I'm going to Africa. I'm going to Africa. So I had a backpack, and I filled my backpack up with like oatmeal and tuna fish and, just, and I had like $25 in my pocket. I put my backpack on, and I was in Africa. And when I got there, I was like, holy shit, we've been bamboozled.
Mm-hmm.
We've been brainwashed, bamboozled. I mean, it was cats in there with Mercedes-Benz, 5-star hotels, pumping Jay-Z and 50 Cent. I was like, get the I said, whoa. So on the way back from Abuja, our plane got shook down. So they were like, y'all ain't leaving till I don't know what the negotiation was, but we were stuck in the airport for 5 hours. And so this when the real transformation started for me. And this was the beginning of the birth of Evolve and the work that we're doing now. So in that airport during that time, it was those gentlemen that I spoke about, they were having a conversation. I'm talking about a real conversation. Now, keep in mind, I just came from a war zone, had no way of knowing where I was in life. I just knew I had a backpack and I was going to Africa because it was better than Baltimore. I knew that. And while I was there with some really interesting stories, I mean, to the point where I was responsible for paying a bunch of my volunteer job was to pay a bunch of the police and all the security and transportation logistic people. So they would give me the money and then I would have to pay them. So I guess they thought I was American and I had money. I'm thinking I come with a backpack and $25. I'm not these guys. Matter of fact, they wouldn't even let me in these places if I just tried to walk in. So during this time, they were like, well, we need our money. We need to pay. And I said, look, now I laugh at myself every time. And these guys had M16s, 9mm, AKs, 47. I'm talking about scars all on their face. These brothers was rough. These were some real cats. I'm talking about they really got down.
Real G's.
Huh?
I said they was real G's.
Man, these Jews was about their service. So I was like, well, we need our money, this and that. And here I am. Man, I told y'all gonna get paid on Friday. I'm from Baltimore. If y'all gonna kill me, then my blood gotta spill right here in Africa. I said y'all getting paid on Friday. About that when I said, what the hell was I thinking? But anyway, we're on our way back to the airport. These gentlemen were having this conversation, and I'm listening to the words they're saying, and they were just talking and blah blah blah, using big words. And here I am, straight out of bar. I'm listening. I'm like, what are they saying? Like I could hear them they were using these big words, and they were communicating. I'm like, they look like me, you know, but they don't sound like me. They don't sound like the people I communicate with. So me, I'm afraid. I'm like, oh shit, I can't go back to Baltimore because I want to be where they are. I got to figure out how to get where they are. I know where I came from, but how do I get there? I had no clue. So I now you talking about Andrew Young, John Hope Bryant, Martin Luther King III, and I said, excuse me. I said, brothers, I don't mean no harm, because we about to get on this plane and I'm about to come back to a reality that I'm not trying to face. Wow. I don't mean any harm. I can hear what you're saying. And I said it just like this, or some paraphrase. It was 20 years ago. I said, I can hear some of the words y'all are saying, but I really can't comprehend. So I want to know, but I don't know where, I just want to know how to talk like y'all. And they said, read, brother. I said, in my mind, I'm thinking, read? Man, fuck y'all. I can read. I know how to read, So I went home. I was frustrated. I went home. I'm a mama's boy too. So I called my mom and I'm like, Mom.
They said I would read.
They gonna tell me read, brother, and didn't even tell me no books that I need to read. I can read. So I went to pick up a book. Fuck them. I'm gonna show them. All right, wait a minute. Hold up. I know I just read a couple. And then the words started like jumping off the page and moving. I couldn't get past 2 sentences. I said, holy shit. But because I was so stubborn, I said, I'm going to show them. So I just started writing down words that I didn't know and getting a dictionary and going back and forth until I just had lists of pages of words and definitions and dictionary. And I spent months and months. I said, I got it. I can do this. And I went and enrolled in school. I went and enrolled in CCBC, and it took me 9 years to get a 2-year degree. Wow. I finally figured it out. I learned how to study. I learned how to read. I learned how to write. I learned how to articulate. I learned how to communicate. I learned how to comprehend. I learned how to watch people. I learned how to do all of this stuff. While at the same time, remember, I was practicing all these internal things too. So while I'm learning these things, I'm also breathing and stretching and moving. And now and then by the time 9 years came, and within that 9 years, color started getting brighter. Words started sounding different. People started changing the way they looked. And I'm like, holy shit, is this what learning feels like? I can do this. And then it got to the point where I transferred to University of Baltimore in 2014. And then I went for 2014 and 15, 16 and graduated with a degree in communications, community studies, civic engagement, business and business communications, community study, and civic engagement. And I started Evolve in 2015 because I was like, wait a minute, I'd been through all of this. I figured this out. I taught myself how to read and write. So I literally saw the whole system from the training to everything. So I was like, well, now I got to give back. I got to leave a breadcrumbs because I made it. Either I can keep going and forget about everybody else. I could embrace my evolution and just keep moving and, go out and praise myself and, I'm this guy and, I could have did that. But I said, nah, I can't. It was
Mhm.
something in my heart and in my spirit that said I can't. So I just started developing this system, which we call the Beach Life Track to Success and Purpose System: business, education, arts, community, and health. And then I adapted some principles from martial arts, which is seek perfection of character, be faithful, endeavor, respect others, and refrain from violent behavior. And what we did, well, we had to have a mission. So I developed a mission, which is to create and preserve long-term sustainable community wealth and a better quality of life for students, families, and stakeholders of the communities we serve. So what we do, we take that mission, our guiding principles of seek perfection of character, be faithful, endeavor, respect others, and refrain from violent behavior. And then we teach our Beach Life curriculum, which is business, education, arts, community, and health. And those three things allow a person to use that practice, which we call a practice. It's a game. We practice the game. And practicing these principles, this mission, these precepts, you will evolve. You're going to change. You can't be the same. I can't be the same person I was. That person, although I was a caterpillar and now I have wings, yes, the caterpillar is still here,
Yeah.
but I ain't crawling on the ground no more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm flying. So we teach this system, and we teach it from in the background. We have our board where we have different levels. The kids come in, they put their grades on the board. We get to monitor them. We have a space right here where we have a kitchen. If you look around, we have rooms right here. We have a kitchen back there. We have music equipment. We have another meditation room in the next space. And we just bring the kids in here and we practice beach life. We teach them how to use those tools to evolve themselves, because every kid is not going to have my experience. And it'll be wrong for me to impose my experience of how I evolved on them. So if we just say, it's your beach life.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's your precepts.
Mm-hmm.
We're just here to coach you. And so that's what we've been doing for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's an open source program. Yes, it's a 501c3, so you can donate. It's a charity, but we're not looking to monopolize growth and learning and development. It is what it is. If we've been okay for the last 5 years. Now we have banks like T. Rowe Price talking to us, Capital Funding Group, Fulton Bank. We have private donations, and it still doesn't mean anything to us. We have people who we're buying land in other parts of the United States, and we got farms, and we got chickens and gardens, and we're working on getting goats and cows, and we're doing this all over the country. And we have students from Senegal and Sierra Leone and Nigeria, and we've been doing this for 5 years. Like you said, Sister Jewel, is that we do this organically. We're not interested. I'm telling, people that listen, it's not personal to me, so don't make it personal to me. We don't. We're not begging you, because you don't even know what we know. You can't do what we do, and it's not disrespectful to you, but a lot of times people want me to stop the work that I'm doing every day to explain to them about the work that I'm doing every day. I'm like, nah, y'all have to catch up. There's 30 years of moving, so y'all even have to catch up and figure it out. It's beach life. It's the founder. It's the mission. It's our precepts. Figure it out. It's simple. It's beach life.
Right.
Thank you so much, Coach. Where are you located?
Right now, we have a couple locations. We have a permanent club. We're out of the Rec Center in Loch Raven. It's 1801 Glenkeith Boulevard. We have a program we run every Tuesday and Thursday from 3 to 6. We have a farm in Middle River. We call Benji's Farm. That's the address. I'm not sure the address offhand. It's our Benji's Farm project. We had somebody who had 7 acres.
You can give everybody your website and how they can contact you to learn more. So what's your website?
So www.evolvecommunityfoundation.com. And my Facebook, I go by Laverde Freedom on the Facebook page, and I think this is important. I use Laverde Freedom as one of my names because I Laverde mean lover. Day in French is of, so lover of freedom. And I believe that when you love freedom, then you know when someone's oppressing you. And when you live and then you embody the concept of true freedom, it's easy to identify when people are not being respectful and all these other things, because I know what freedom feels like. I know what freedom feels like for me to express. I know what the freedom to just breathe, inhale, exhale. I know what freedom of movement feels like. So I can easily tell when I'm being restricted from my natural freedom. So you can find me on Facebook as Laverde Freedom, Louvrde Freedom. And yeah, so that's what we do. That's Evolve. That's Beach Life.
It's
And that's
like
how
so much. Thank
Beach
you so
Life.
much. So we're going to thank you for sharing your stories, Jewel and Coach. Jewel, I wanted to come back to you before we wrap it up because you have some events coming up that I want you to go ahead and share as well. And also, I'm gonna put all of this on as in the post show, so I see what I'm adding now because y'all giving me some things for people follow up on now. So now I got some new content to create.
Told you we got you, sis.
Yeah, y'all got me working. But so let me know what else that you are getting into. So, Dear Black Men, I know the anniversary just recently passed, and we are encouraging people to go leave some comments on Amazon still, right?
Yes, so I just checked it today. We're up to 72. So I'm with over about 2,500 books sold. It should give me 10%. Give me like 250.
Okay. I know y'all got the book, so please, we gotta support one another. So please go and share your healing story, or just share share how this has impacted your life on Amazon.com.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and we're also we're launching a Dear Black Men self-care kit this month.
Okay.
So we are asking and encouraging men to prioritize self-care. So taking that time to themselves to do things for themselves that enrich themselves. So inside of the box, there will be a book, an affirmation tee that I created, a face mask, and then I partnered with 3 Black-owned businesses in Baltimore to create bath salt, candles, and an oil fragrance. So it's going to be really nice. I'll probably open it up next week.
Okay.
There'll be 100 available first, and then we'll see what everybody else wants to do. But those will be shipped out on Black Friday.
So is that like a gift? Like people ordered them, or how?
So they can go to www.jewelguy.co/shop. And if you want to, I would encourage you to join the wait list. Just join the wait list. So as soon as those 100 go in, you can go ahead and get yours. But it's definitely great for gifts. We have a lot of moms come past the table when we're selling books, want to get things for their sons. People getting things for their nephews. So, Christmas is coming up, or the holiday season, whatever you celebrate or come together with your family to do. If you're gift giving, please think of the Dear Black Men self-care kit and let a Black man know that you love him and that you're thinking about him.
Yes. All right. So thank you again for joining us on the FLY LYF Live, where healing conversations happen. Thank you for, again, I just thank all of my guests, because again, this was just a project where I'm like, I want to have some conversations. We are like in COVID, we still working, but healers need healing too. And create space for we know that we've been called to do this work, to share knowledge and to share positive energy and to share our gifts, and we have to give from a full cup. So that last key of the FLY LYF, so we have self-awareness, self-identity, know who you are, love yourself, and master your mind, and you can master your life. And the last key is self-fulfillment. Fill your own cup. Fill your own cup. And so if you watch tonight, if you're going to watch, if you get this, once it's packaged up and put in a podcast form, whenever you get this message, remember that we are responsible for filling our own cups. And we got a lot of jewels from Jewel and Coach about ways that that you can express yourself and get the healing that you need to fill your own cup. It is only when our own cups are filled, when we find that sweet spot inside, that we are able to really experience the love that we're looking for on the outside anyway, because it's supposed to mirror back to us. So we got to be what we want to see. And so that's the key that I'm going to leave with you all today. And so I'm going to ask before we sign off, we're going to start with you, Coach, and we're going to leave off with Jewel. And I call them frequent frequent flyers, right? And so what I call a frequent flyer is someone who continues to get up, dust the feathers off, clean them if need be, but continues to fly no matter what. Continues to check their bags, get up every day, give your gratitude and check your bag.
Yeah.
Take your ticket and say yes. Take a deep breath, put your seatbelt on, and no matter what happens, you live that day. And we do that every day. And that to me is a frequent flyer. No matter how you feeling, you're gonna dust them off and you're gonna show up for yourself and you're gonna take the trip to see what the end of the day is going to be. So what do you all want to leave for our frequent flyers? Because it's not easy to just pick up and dust off and keep it moving when you don't have tools. So we share with people gratitude being a tool you only got to buy. You don't need a coach for that. You don't have to pay for that. That is something that you can find that from the inside of you, and all you got to do is put that back out there, and it's coming back. What do you want to leave with people on their healing journey when it gets to be those times where they have to do it alone?
I think it's already been laid out through Evolve Community Foundation. I think that's why we created our mission and our precepts. So using the precepts that Evolve has laid out, if go to our website, look what they're about. That's seeking perfection of character, be faithful, endeavor, respect others, and refrain from violent behavior. And use those concepts when you're going through life, when you're dusting yourself off. Think about, am I seeking the best of myself, my character? Am I being faithful? Am I persevering? Am I respecting others? Am I refraining from violent behavior? And then look at your beach life. Look at your B. See if your business is being taken care of. See if your education is on point. Is your art okay? Is your community okay? And are you mindful of your health? So I would say go to the website, check out the things we've already laid out. If you want to reach out to me personally on Facebook or whatever, I promise I'll do what I can. I'm human. I'm still dusting myself off, trying to get up every day. But as long as my wings keep getting strong, I'm going to keep carrying the weight of whoever I can. And if God continue to allow me to serve, then I'm going to serve humbly and faithfully.
Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I definitely believe that you should have principles. One thing that has been resonating for me over the last couple of weeks is give yourself grace. We are traversing through the world. You are the navigator of your life. The things that you think, the things that you feel turn into behavior. So be mindful of what you're thinking. Be mindful of what you're doing. And then give yourself the grace. Just like Coach Bahar said, we have the opportunity with gratitude and in life in general to reset. Take that moment. Okay, that was a moment ago. Evaluate it. Become self-aware. What happened? Okay, I blew my top. All right, I shouldn't have done that. Right? Be self-aware of whatever is going on. Be accountable and begin again. Like we can give ourselves that grace. So don't look for that grace to always come from the outside. Give yourself the grace to begin again, to be self-aware, to be accountable. And you'll be all right as a frequent flyer.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach Bilal, President, Founder, and Head Coach of Evolve Community Foundation, and Jewel Guide
Yes.
Coach,
Thank
visual
you.
storyteller, and facilitator of healing conversations. I thank
Yes.
you. And good night. You all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week.
Well, thank you for what you do, Fly. Thank you for what
Yep.
you do with this Fly platform. No, seriously, Tiffany, thank you
Yes.
because you're thanking us, but you're the one that brought us together. So thank you for this platform and thank you for allowing us
100%.
to share it through you. You give yourself credit, Tiff. You got to.
That's right.
I'm not
Give
going to let you
yourself the
do that,
clap.
Tiff. You got to give yourself credit, sis. You had the courage and strength to do this. So please,
That's right.
all right.
That's right.
Thank you. Y'all have a great night. I appreciate you.
All right. I love y'all in real life.
Fly life, beach life. Dear black
Beach
men.
life.
Yes.
Bye.